All right, shalom, shalom. Um, everybody, I'm sorry. I was talking. I was just talking. Thank you for letting me know. I had to get back on the right screen. Thank you. I had to get this around. Okay, so let me go in. Okay. All right, I just got off of Dagger Squad, right? And on Dagger Squad, thank you, Shar. On Dagger Squad, we were talking about they were talking about like group economics and stuff like that. Like Black people in America have not practiced group economics. Now, keep in mind, Garfield is from Jamaica. Okay, now I am an American girl with Caribbean roots. So I understand the differences in thought processes and how to get involved in the economy. We have to realize that Black people built economy. Musa Mansa moved through Egypt and devalued gold. So there was a point system already in Africa to value wealth. Okay. So we cannot act like economy is not an invention of Black people. Now, getting off the gold standard and valuing paper, that wasn't our doing. That was, of course, coming in with Europeans later when they didn't have enough gold or natural resources to sustain their superiority, right? We know that, right? So I go in and I'm like, well, I believe in the Most High. But they're like, well, why do you believe in the Most High? Now, keep in mind, these people say that they are not causing divisions. And of course, Ankh is on there. And of course, if you know me and Ankh's previous conversations, we do not get along. I do not agree with anything that this man says. It's a problem. He is a problem to the Black community for me, as well as Garfield. But I go on there anyway, still trying to bring home a point that there's a difference between Caribbean thinking and Caribbean aspects to slavery than there is in America, being that you're still the majority of a place, whether you're being ruled or not, you're still the majority of a place, and the economy goes for how you say it goes. You have more of a say in it and how it's marketed and everything else. We are the minority of a group, and so marketing and things that are presented to our kids and everything else are still on a they say basis. Okay, so we're actually fighting something different. So I go on there and I'm like, yo, I believe in the Most High. Well, why do you believe in the Most High? So those of you who know my story, I have a story when I was 5 years old. I went to Jones Beach in New York, but we went to the pool because Jones Beach was crazy dirty. So we go to the pool. Starlight Daycare Center in New York for Archer. So we go to the pool. I didn't understand the concept of a deep end and a shallow end, and that persists throughout my life, right? But I jumped into the deep end and I went all the way to the bottom. Now, keep in mind, I don't have swimming lessons. I don't know how to swim. I've been to the beach several times, but we just kind of like wade in the water, okay? Like for real. Nobody taught me how to swim. I didn't even know the mechanisms of swimming and how it worked at 5 years old, okay? So I'm at the bottom of the pool. Water is filling my lungs. And my mother told me, when I'm not around to help you or to save you, pray to God and he will save you. I prayed to God and I heard the words like somebody whispered in my ear, kick. So I kicked. I came to the top of the pool. And I just got out. I threw up all the water that was in my lungs. Still, nobody saw me. I went right back to playing. I said, I'm going to stay on the shallow end over here. I learned my lesson, right? Years later, I went to Colorado and I learned how to swim. But I didn't know that then. And I know I didn't know that then. So I said that there must be a higher power. I go into how my grandmother is from the Caribbean. My grandmother was born in America, but she was sent back to the Caribbean, like many people were, to be raised by grandparents. Well, while she was raised by her grandparents, she was 11 years old collecting rent. She knew about economy. She was learning that at a very young age. She knew about interest. She knew about all these things and how to make money. My grandmother ended up dying, leaving an inheritance for her children, her grandchildren, and her great-grandchildren, all of us, okay? And you might say, oh, she made some wise move. No, she did some heavy praying, okay? Every Sunday, yeah, I said Sunday, my grandmother was praying. But my grandmother also kept Passover. When I decided to keep the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, she encouraged me. Okay, so she did a lot of praying. She wound up in Denver, Colorado, where we was passed. And guess what happened to the property? The property went skyrocketed up. So her small investment in her property wound up providing for her children, her grandchildren, and her great grandchildren. Hallelujah. Yeah, but then if I give praises to that, even though that's who my grandmother prayed to, that she was making the right decisions, that she was doing the right things, oh, something's wrong with you, sister. And I was like, no, there's nothing wrong with me. We can't deny that other people have made just as wise decisions, that they have made great moves to help and sustain their family, and they have lost it all, or it has not gone far. Or the people who get it lose it all. So we can't act like that this was just a blueprint for success. Many people follow the same blueprints of successful people and do not succeed. It takes a higher intervention. I know that because when I was getting my master's, I was pregnant. And I was going to drop out. I said, I'm going to drop out and just worry about being pregnant. But I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. Because I'm pregnant, I need to be more motivated to finish this degree, to finish what I've started, to get this degree so I can better provide for this child coming. Okay. So I waddled across the stage 3 years ago, right? 3 years ago, I waddled across the stage. And right when school ended, the week after, I had my baby, and her birthday's coming up tomorrow, right? So I was like, man, I had to take several seats. I couldn't even pursue an administrative job at that time because I wanted to, welcome my child and give her and me some time. Because look, my whole life changed. I was single. I was like, I'm going to invest in myself and get my master's. Right when I did that, I met my husband. I was pregnant with my child. We moved into a house. Everything happened all at the same time. In 1 year, all this happened. So I needed to have several seats, which I did. So when I did that, and then I wanted a job, many of you know me from SVDL. There were some brothers on there and was like, you're the God and you have to manifest. Well, another person told me that, but he was like, you have to align with the Most High and what he wants. So I started recounting what the Most High brought me through. I said, you would not let me have come across the stage with the A average, pass everything that I took, get everything done before my daughter arrived in order to not elevate me and give me this space so I can then in turn create a school to truly educate African-American students, so-called African-American students. So once I started recounting those things and really started praying, like, I'm ready, it's time, let's go. Guess what? Interviews started coming in. And I had to start off the year at a place that I didn't really want to be at, right? I was like, why am I here? I shouldn't be here, And I was talking to the Most High about it. And then I was gone by October, okay, into my new role, which is leadership, and into that. And of course, I attribute that to the Most High. Well, they're like, no, that was just you. And that was it. Well, why are you getting me to, why do you feel the need to get me to say that's just what you did, and to disregard the higher power that's directing and ordering my steps? How about if I still have all that divine intervention and I still agree with you that we need to be on the same page as far as getting justice and equality and equity for our people? It doesn't matter. I don't care how somebody comes to agree with me. I care that they agree with me so we can move on and we can get these things done. I don't have to worry about what God you pray to or who you're praying to and this and that. I'm not one of those people who are about to divide and conquer. I'm not about to do that. I'm not about to waste my time on it. I care that you believe at the end of the day that justice needs to be served, that people need to be treated equitably, and that systems are devised are devised to keep us down. Now, if you agree on that, then we can move on to the next step. How do we fix it? So when I said that, they said, no, we don't believe that. But then they still came against my claims about what the Most High has done for me, my grandmother, and people in my family. Well, why are we arguing that? That's a freaking fact. I don't have to argue that. That's facts to me. Now, when you try to come against that, that's when we have problems, because now you're telling me that it's just all up in my mind and not in my spirit. Now, keep in mind, Africans on the west coast of Africa all had different spiritual beliefs. They all had different types of beliefs, and that's what got them warring and selling each other out. But instead of saying, hey, let's push all that to the side, I don't care how you come to this point, as long as we're at this point, then we can move on. And we have to develop a set of core beliefs that will govern us on how to deal with each other. You know, how do we deal with each other? And how do we develop this code that encompasses all of us, this Pan-African code that covers all of us as far as good customer quality service, good quality, and the things that we're doing and we're providing for each other? How do we set that up? We can never get to that point because we want to argue whose God is better, who ain't God, who is God, and who whatever. So as I tried to move to that point, they said that's not what they're doing, but then they went back and attacked my God. And I was like, wait, you can't attack my God. I have physical proof that my God is real. It was still a problem for these Negroes. It was still a problem. Then this dude says, oh, well, we have a long history, blah, blah, blah. You believe in the Most High? Didn't you say we have a long history? Don't you know I believe in the Most High? Yeah, you do. Right? So then he said, why don't you pray that the Most High choked David Chauvin in his sleep? And I said, well, I'm not going to dictate to the higher power, my higher power, the Most High, on how to enact justice. Because I've never seen the Most High give people justice. The people that have done me wrong, the Most High didn't do justice an eye for an eye. He did vengeance. I've seen Negroes crumble after they have done me so bad, so much so that I had to pray for them. Like, is it really like that? Is it really like that? I mean, like, God, you had to do them like that. So my God has never enacted justice on anybody who has ever done me wrong. He's always enacted vengeance. But what he told me to do is pray for and do in love, like he does justice. Okay? But I've seen people's lives crumble after they have done me wrong. And I'm just one of those people who are lucky, I don't believe in luck, blessed enough to see it. And when you see it, it'll make you fall on your knees and pray for your enemies. This is why Christ said, pray for your enemies. Because he knows that God is not only going to do justice, he is going to enact vengeance. And his vengeance will bring a man, woman, whoever does it, down to their knees. That's what I know. So I don't have to pray, God, can you choke David Chauvin in his sleep? I don't have to pray that prayer. I know what he's going to do. I know what he has done. So I know I wasn't surprised, but you know, these people, like, it was like once I started witnessing and showing you know, what the Most High has done and witnessing it. Of course, many of us are believers because we have seen it done in our lives, so we witnessed it in others and stuff like that. But at the same time, it's like you want to come at me and you want to be so ferocious in what you're saying, and then at the same time, in the same breath, say you're not causing division. What? Now you're saying that I'm just a dumbass, excuse my language, for believing in the Most High, for believing in what he can do, for believing how he has torn people down that I just maybe cried about one afternoon. Every time I cry out to the Most High, he acts. And he does not give an eye for an eye. It is way worse. But if you are a godless man, if you're a man without God, if you think you're God, alone, and there's no one above you, and you show no submission to anybody, then you believe only what your hands can provide. And you should feel disappointed in that. You should feel real disappointed in that. You should be always left in disappointment when you are depending on the vengeance that your hands want, but you ain't out there getting. But at the same time, you tell people, drop your gods and believe in me. Spend your money with me. Invest in me. Invest in what I have to say. Invest in all these things that I have to say. Now, keep in mind, you have mixed reviews. You have mixed reviews. You don't even have a stellar reputation. You have people in your chats crying about money that you have taken from them. That's what you have. You have people crying about money that you have taken from them. Keep in mind, a poor, disenfranchised people already. That is what you have in your comments when you talk about spend your money with me. Believe in me. What would the scripture say about believing in man? You'll be disappointed every time, right? Not put your confidence in man. Acts. We all have to believe in God and not man. Okay? The whole duty of man is to keep the law, statutes, and commandments, which actually gives you a code on how to deal with your brother. So I shouldn't be surprised, but I'm still outraged by this. You act like you want to have a conversation, but when somebody starts proving you that their God or their deity works for them and has guided them, and not just you, but somebody else, then you want to overtalk and you want to, and I don't care that you have a Jamaican accent. I don't care. We have a problem with swindlers and people in the community saying, drop your God. Now, if you're saying, because we do have some camp members, we do have some people saying that you don't believe in our God, we're not rocking with you. We do have that. Well, that's the problem, because that's not what our people did. Our people rocked with and allied with other people who had different beliefs, and that's in the word. But as far as who we worshiping, who we serving, how we do, that's a different thing. So you can say it's unification, but there's never going to be unification, especially when you talk about African tribalism and all this other stuff that you claim is going on and you're trying to unify. White people don't have to have the same beliefs, the same this, the same that. All they did was spread white. All they did was spread white. We're going to give you white no matter what you believe in, as long as you have the same hue as us, so we can fight against all these colored people up in America. They don't let those things divide them. However, you have Garfield and the Godless men who follow him say you got to drop that to deal with us. No, I don't. I don't have to drop anything. Oh, you have a problem with paying me day by day? You have a problem by not charging me outrageous interest? You know, these people don't want to destroy the system. They just want to be on top of this already messed up system that will oppress somebody. They're like, hey, we just want to keep the system, but we want Black people to be on top as they fall, and then other people to be at the bottom. This is not true justice. This is still an avocation of oppression, and we ought to be against anybody who's talking about that. Anybody. I don't care who they are, whether they're a Garfield, whether they're an Ankh. I don't care who they are. We need to be against Negroes like this, because you can't say drop our gods and believe in your shady business. You don't have a 5-star rating in the way you deal and handle business. So what's to believe in? I have to believe that the higher power that I believe in is moving me, and I'm plugged in, and I'm going to be at the right places at the right time, whether it's with you or wherever, and that I'm able to invest in a system that will help liberate us. So that was my experience. I just want to share that. I'm going to try to get the link. I have it on my phone. My phone died. And I'm going to put it underneath so you guys can hear. And there's one lone brother on there trying to say, I mean, he's trying to stick up for spiritualism because he believes that it is as African American, or not African American, but it is as African as apple pie is to America. We cannot, we cannot say Black people need to stop being spiritual people. Then he brings up all these people who are starving, this, that, but they still here. They're projected to still outnumber our oppressors at the end of the day. At the end of the day, they're still going to outnumber our oppressors eating rice, eating whatever they can. They're still going to outnumber the oppressors because they're doing so much so fast, and they're putting people with poison. African Americans are the proof of that. You're not going to live long doing that. And we have to know that. So, I was just disgusted. If you're not causing division, then I believe in the Most High, and I'm going to witness everywhere I go about him. But I'm going to come together and do economics with you. I'm going to buy Black. I'm going to support our own institutions. I'm going to do those things. My daughter right now goes to, well, she hasn't been going nowhere of late, but she goes to Christian Metropolitan Academy. Why? Because we don't have a Hebrew Metropolitan Academy. But they know our beliefs and they know how to play that either. They know it. But I'll come together for the economics. I'll come together for those things. But my daughter sings a Shema to school. My daughter is learning Hebrew Aleph Bet. My daughter is learning things. She's going to come into that school and say it. So with that, I say shalom, y'all. I just wanted to bring it out. What's going on? Some people say, oh, you got a spirit of a man. No, but I'm not afraid to go into a lion's den full of men and speak the truth. I don't have the spirit of a man. I have a spirit of a warrior, and you better recognize. Thank you to, I believe that's Yashar in the chat that said warrior. Yeah, I am a warrior. And I'm always going to war for what I believe in and for what I believe can be solutions to the problem. We don't have that from Garfield Ried. We don't. So I would, what I'm going to pray for Garfield Ried? See, he wanted me to pray that the Chauvin guy got choked. Well, I pray for justice on the Chauvin guy, and I know that my God is going to give justice. But I want to pray for Garfield to stop being the agent of divisiveness and don't care about what people or what deities people choose to worship, but that we are arriving at the same thing of group economics, which we already did in America. And it's been torn down time and time again, which is trauma that his ass coming off the boat don't have. Okay, and he needs to recognize that. And we need to address those problems, those feelings, and that trauma, heal it, and then move forward. But when you're just acting like this is a nonsense BS problems instead of real trauma that set families back, I don't even know how far back, but set them back. And if there weren't miraculous things that catapult them forward, then we would be really in big problems. So we need to remember that when dealing with these people, they always try to overtalk you when you're bringing out good points. And they really just are people who've never felt the mercy, grace, and heard the voice of the Most High. And that is a shame. And so I'm going to be praying that he hears that he understands that this power is not coming from just himself, because we have to agree, right? But just himself, but coming from a power up above that is protecting and providing for him. George Floyd didn't do anything different than any of us would have done on any given day. And the only reason why it wasn't you is because either somebody was protecting you, praying for you, or kept you in their spirit. And we need to acknowledge that. So with that, I say shalom. Y'all have a good day. I just had to put this on blast because it is a travesty. Okay? Y'all have a good day.